As mentioned, Republican Congressman Michael Waltz, a Florida native, joins me now. He's the first Green Beret to serve in Congress and is a former White House and Pentagon advisor. Thank you very much. Good to see you this afternoon, Representative Waltz. Yeah. So all those organizations that I just mentioned that you have served in and served your country in, they all have rules. You have to stick to those rules. Is that the case for some and not for others on the Hill?
Yeah, you know, Martha, at 18 years old in the Army, you learn a very basic leadership principle, and that's to lead by example. You're going to put rules in place, lead by those rules and lead by example. And this is just time after time, whether it's Pelosi or other leading Democrats, where they don't feel like they need to do that. I mean, whether it is with this in the magnetometers, whether it's her going back to California and getting her hair done when so many other small businesses and hair salons were completely shut down, Painful. Newsom at French Laundry. I mean, it is on and on. But one point I want to make on this, from a security standpoint, you know, there are Capitol police officers at these magnetometers frisking us down in the inner sanctum of the House rather than being out there securing the Capitol grounds from, by the way, threats that we can't get briefings on. We still have National Guardsmen out there away from their families, away from their jobs, supplementing the police, and yet we can't get, you know, a briefing on what is this dire threat that requires
that's a great point.
So many people.
You've still got thousands of National Guard members there, away from their families, as you say, and none of you have been apprised of why they are still there, because there's no reason for them to be there unless there is a threat, a present threat, correct?
Right. And meanwhile, the Capitol Police that they're supporting is inside, worried about Louis Gohmert and other, you know, members of the House of Representatives. So it's just a double standard all around. And yes, to your point, I mean, I even spoke to the acting Secretary of the Army and said, why do we have more troops in the Capitol than we have in Iraq and Afghanistan combined?
That's a great question.
And we still don't have answers.
Hey, I don't want to let you go without bringing up a really interesting piece that you wrote, Representative Waltz, called "The GOP's Future is Found in Florida." And you say if you look at what's happening in Florida, there's a roadmap for the Republican Party to win. Tell me about that.
Well, if you look at what happened in 2020, we turned out the Republican base, we turned out President Trump's base, and we grew the tent amongst Black, Hispanic, not just Cuban, but also Puerto Rican and Jewish voters. And it was really for a number of reasons, but we focused on the issues, whether it was school choice that resonated with Black women, it was the president's policies towards Israel that resonated with Jewish voters. But at the end of the day, we tripled his margin from 2016. From 1% to 3% in a state where no one has won by more than 1% in many, many years. And then the other thing, Martha, is the party really operated in concert from the national level to the state level to the local level towards those goals. And we did it to where we knew the vote totals the night of. That's right. And we had a large percentage of mail-in voting. So for the future of the party, I really do think we ought to look to Florida as a roadmap.
Yeah, and school choice was a big factor in Governor DeSantis's win over Andrew Gillum. As you point out, there are a lot of parents who really wanted to have the school choice option, and now with COVID, that's even more potent an issue than it was back then. Representative Waltz, thank you. Great to see you today.
All right. Thanks so much, Martha.
You bet.
All righty.